take a moment to notice how the day has slowed, how the edges of sound and thought begin to soften, and how the simple act of being still allows the body to rest a little more easily, as if the room around you has drawn its curtains and invited you into quiet safety, where nothing asks for your attention and nothing presses upon your mind, because this is a time set aside just for calm, a gentle corner of the evening that belongs only to you, with the air a little cooler now, the rhythm of your breath unhurried, and the soft steadiness of your heartbeat reminding you that you are safe, supported, and welcome to relax. And in this atmosphere of ease, we begin to picture the place at the center of tonight's story, a tunnel that echoes with silent songs, a passageway that does not call you to act or to search, but instead lets sound and silence rest together in a calm harmony. And as you imagine stepping toward this space, you can feel the ground beneath your feet, steady and solid, carrying you gently, while a soft glow, like lamplight in the distance, gives the path a tender outline. Nothing harsh, only the kind of light that guides you toward rest. And here, there's no rush, no urgency, only the comfort of stillness stretching forward. The kind of stillness that invites deep breaths and easy thoughts. And as you settle into this beginning moment, let the quiet refrain drift across your awareness. Everything is steady tonight. As the evening deepens and you rest more fully into the quiet of this time, the sense of calm becomes like a soft blanket, not heavy, just steady, keeping the body at ease while the mind drifts toward gentler images. And we turn our attention toward the place that holds tonight's story, the tunnel that echoes with silent songs, a passageway that does not demand travel or exploration, but rather offers a gentle reminder of how sound and space can rest together in harmony. And as you picture it, you might notice how the air feels cooler at its entrance, with a hush that greets you, like the soft quiet of a library or the stillness of a nighttime walk under dim lamplight. And inside, the walls do not shout. They do not even sing aloud. They simply carry an echo that feels like a memory of a melody, a presence of music without the weight of sound. And this quiet resonance flows slowly, stretching like ripples across calm water, fading gently, then returning, reminding you that nothing needs to be sharp or demanding in this moment, only soft and spacious. And as the thought of this tunnel unfolds, you may notice its surface, stone that has been shaped by time, smooth and cooled, offering textures that do not overwhelm, but rather reassure with their simplicity. And as your imagination lingers, the tunnel becomes less a place to travel through and more a feeling to rest inside, where the echo of silent songs floats like warm air moving in slow circles, circling back without urgency, circling back without effort, circling back with ease. And all the while, you remain comfortable, aware of your breath, aware of the safe stillness around you. And in this layered quiet, the refrain returns gently. Everything is steady tonight, a phrase that settles like a whisper carried by air, and then recedes again, leaving behind only calm, so that the tunnel feels not like stone or distance, but like a sanctuary of ease, a space where echoes and silence are simply friends, moving together in unhurried rhythm, guiding you further into relaxation. And as you imagine sitting or resting within it, you might picture the way cool air brushes against your skin, while the quiet glow of unseen light makes the outline of the space soft, never harsh, never demanding, just enough to let you know you are present, at ease, and welcome to linger. And in this sense of lingering, the evening continues gently, like pages turning at a slow, steady pace, each moment drawing you further from the activity of the day and closer to a restful night. At this point in the evening, the story settles fully into its center, and the tunnel that echoes with silent songs becomes the steady rhythm of your thoughts, a space that repeats itself gently in cycles of calm. And each cycle is a chance to notice the same soft idea from a slightly different angle, never rushing, never demanding, simply allowing soundless echoes to drift and return, like the tide along a quiet shore. And as these cycles unfold, we can rest with them, letting the repetition itself soothe and ease the mind. Because repetition, when calm and unhurried, has a way of cradling thought into slower patterns, into softer rhythms, into the kind of stillness that supports deep rest. And so, we begin the first cycle by simply holding the thought that the tunnel carries echoes even when no voice speaks, a reminder that space itself can hold memory. And in imagining that, you might picture the way a cavern catches the drip of water, not loud, only present, repeating, fading, and returning. And the settling line arrives here with ease, reminding you that the simple presence of echo is enough. Everything is steady tonight, and then we shift into another cycle, considering how these echoes are not music in the usual sense, but rather the suggestion of music. Like the way breeze moves through tall grass and sounds almost like a lullaby, or the way distant waves against the dock seem to carry rhythm without needing melody. And with that soft image, you can let your shoulders rest a little heavier, your breath a little slower, your thoughts a little less insistent. For the echo itself does not ask you to hold it. It carries itself, fading back into the stone and then returning again, gentle and circular. And as the mind rests here, another cycle begins, repeating the core idea yet again, that the tunnel, quiet and cool, does not silence the world, but reshapes it into something softer, something easy, something continuous. And with that thought, you may imagine a long hallway lit by lanterns that do not flicker sharply, but glow steadily, with walls that carried your footsteps as if they were already slowed to a hush. And in this hush, sound and silence blend, each supporting the other, and the refrain reminds us once more, everything is steady tonight, as the story flows on, always repeating, always circling, always easing, so that no matter how many times the echo returns, it does so like a gentle friend, arriving without urgency and fading without loss. And with each turn of this cycle, the body becomes heavier, the breath becomes deeper, the stillness becomes wider, and the story continues, a long, calm stream that flows without end. As the night stretches further, the story drifts into deeper layers, and the tunnel that echoes with silent songs now opens into new textures of thought. Still the same idea at its core, yet seen through another soft lens. And this next cycle is about adding quiet clarifications, small, gentle notes that do not stir but settle, like a hand smoothing fabric or waves lapping against a calm shore, because the tunnel is not a place of mystery, but of steadiness, a space where echoes are felt as presence rather than heard as sound. And the comfort comes from how steady that presence is, never sudden, never sharp, only flowing back and forth with a rhythm as natural as breathing. And here, in this deepening passage, we can pause to list 5 simple qualities of this space. That it is cool without being cold, that it is wide without being empty, that it is long without being endless, that it is quiet without being hollow, that it is steady without being still. And each of these qualities gives the mind one more anchor, one more gentle point to rest upon without needing to hold too tightly, because the rhythm of the echoes carries everything forward, slow and even, like ripples sliding across a pond in soft evening light. And with each description, you may feel your own body aligning with this rhythm, becoming a little heavier where it touches the bed, becoming a little looser in the shoulders and jaw, becoming a little softer in every breath, as though you too are part of the tunnel's calm design. And here again, as the cycles repeat, the refrain appears to remind you, everything is steady tonight, settling once more across the surface of thought like a low note humming in the background. Easy to notice, but just as easy to let drift away, because the important part is not to follow or to hold, but simply to linger, to stay in the flow of gentle repetition, where each cycle brings the same comfort in a slightly new shape, like clouds passing overhead, or waves brushing the sand, or leaves shifting softly on their branches. And so the layers deepen, but the mood does not change. The mood remains calm, steady, and welcoming, carrying you further into the night as each echo dissolves into another. Now the story draws itself into its softest spiral, returning again and again to the same tender idea until it feels more like a lullaby than a thought. And the tunnel that echoes with silent songs is no longer something to picture in detail, but something to rest inside as if it were part of your own breath, part of your own body, part of your own quiet rhythm. And as we drift through these final stretches, the cycles become even longer, more drawn out, like waves that take their time before reaching the shore. Each one carrying calmness, each one carrying ease, each one leaving behind nothing but stillness. And so we repeat, the tunnel holds its echo even in silence, and silence holds its comfort even in stillness, and stillness holds its safety even in night. And as you let those layers fold one upon the other, the refrain enters again with care. Everything is steady tonight, and it rests for a while, letting its words echo like the low hum of wind passing through tall grass, and then fading back, leaving behind only quiet. And with that quiet, the body becomes softer, the thoughts gentler, the breath slower, and another cycle arrives, describing once again the same tunnel with different light, perhaps this time with lamplight glowing faintly on stone, perhaps this time with the soundless suggestion of music woven through the air, perhaps this time with a sense of warm air brushing against your face. Not insistent, just there, and as those images pass, you do not need to hold any of them. They are like drifting lanterns, floating across a river, fading into distance. And still the refrain returns on its own. Everything is steady tonight, reminding you gently that nothing has changed. Nothing needs to change. The calm is still here. The rhythm is still soft. The safety is still certain. And as this spiral continues, you may find that the edges of words blur. The weight of sentences grows softer. The pauses feel longer. And the whole story becomes less a telling and more a quiet presence, like someone sitting nearby in the dark, keeping watch without speaking, steady and kind, until the only thing left is rest, long and unbroken. A rest that belongs to you fully, a rest that carries you gently through the night. And so the narration closes not with an ending, but with a settling, with the sense that you are safe, that the echo will keep its watch, and that the night will hold you softly and surely. Good night.